Hi, hello everyone. Thought you might be too close to me, but it's really hard to tell. Oh, wrong way. Let's try and put you back a little. If you're new, welcome. My name's Charlotte. I do a little bit of everything on YouTube. I hate saying that. I vlog and I do book stuff, and that's basically it. Anyway, hopefully you like it, and yeah, welcome in everyone. Today I'm refilming a Q&A. A little Q&A, a little get to know me. The last time I filmed one of these was just over a year ago, last August. You know what, I thought it's been a while. I've got quite a lot more subscribers on YouTube than I did this time last year. I think I've got like well over double. So I feel like there's a lot of questions coming up on my TikTok, on my YouTube, that people just don't know about me. So lots has changed. I thought we'd do a little Q&A. My hair is really annoying me today and it keeps getting stuck in my lip gloss. You know, when you like drag a hair out of a lip gloss and it leaves a line up your face. It's really rainy outside today, so I've got like a little blanket on, I'm on the sofa. I'm gonna go through the question box that I put on Instagram. A lot of you had some really good questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try go through a little bit of the basics, like about me, obviously if you're new watching this, but a lot of the questions that I covered last year have been asked again. So I'm only gonna answer them if they've changed or if I've got like a slightly different answer. So I'm gonna reference you back to my old Q&A and I'll put the link for that in the description box. But anyway, I have a lot of questions, which is really great. I'm gonna try categorize them, to be honest. So I'm gonna try do like about me, work. There's like some questions about style. There's some questions about like lifestyle and whatever. So I'm gonna start with the about me ones, and I'm sorry if I don't answer your question. There was quite a lot of you having questions, which I'm so grateful for, but I was like, oh no, how do I even begin to answer this? So for the absolute basics, hello, my name's Charlotte. I'm 28. I feel like I'm on a dating show doing this. I'm 28, I'm from Brighton. This is where we live at the moment. And when I say we, I live with my partner, Doug, who I've been together like nearly like 7.5 years. So we live together. We just moved out into a flat. We were living with parents before. My big three always gets asked, which is really interesting to me, because I love astrology, but I like never think to ask people star signs. It's usually because I can guess them. But I'm a Capricorn sun, a Scorpio rising, and a Cancer moon. If you think that seems accurate, please let me know. I think I'm a very watery earth sign. I have like a 6 or 7 planet Capricorn stellium, so yeah, I'm very earth sign, but very watery nonetheless. I'm a part-time content creator and I've been creating content for like 4 or 5 years now across various different platforms. I didn't start on YouTube or TikTok or anything, but we'll get to that in like the work section, I reckon. We're gonna start with like the misc ones that I feel like are quick to answer or related like directly to me or about me, if that makes sense. I've had quite a few questions about tattoos, so we're gonna start with that because that's like really easy for me to answer. So for those of you that haven't seen it yet, I think it's pinned on my page. I have a tattoo tour video, so I'll link that in the description as well. It would take me so long to go through all of them. I don't think I'm heavily tattooed, but I have like a medium amount of tattoos, I would say. But you can go watch my video and I talk through like all the meanings of them, if any, like how long they took, most painful, least painful, that kind of thing in there. So I did have a couple of questions about, do I have any plans for more tattoos? Ideas, yes. Intention, yes. Plans, no. So I still have to get my leg sleeve finished. For those of you that haven't seen it, I have started like a patchwork. I want to say patchwork, but it's quite big patchwork leg sleeve of like Renaissance, Baroque, fine art inspired, classical art inspired tattoos. They're my favorite, they're my most recent. So I've got 2 on my thigh and 1 on the back of my knee, and I'm planning to do my whole leg. So that is kind of like my priority. Woman that does it, she's like actually the woman, she's like my best friend, Harley. She lives in Manchester, so I live in Brighton. It's quite a long trip, so it's not an easy trip to plan because we usually do like 2-day sittings at a time. So that's kind of my first intention for that. I also really want to get the other side of my ear tattooed. These are all things I know I want, like concrete, by the way. I want some more work extended onto my neck and a matching side done, but again, I don't really know what I want. I want my palms done, but the person I want to get my palms done with, I haven't been able to get an appointment with them like the last 3 times they've opened their books because they get so many applications. I want the like thumb pad bit done, I guess. I want some text on there. I want some work across my knuckles done, again text. My hands will be very text heavy unfortunately, but it's the way it is. I want some more added onto my back piece. I thought it was done, but it's not. I want my nips tattooed. Harley does some like really amazing work on nips. which I never thought I'd get done. I also need my stomach finished. That's like pre-COVID, the last time I had that done. So lots of plans, yes, but no appointments or bookings in situ because tattoos are expensive. I've just moved out. I've got a really big trip next year that I'm planning. I feel like everyone feels my pain on that. It's just so much planning. I'm quite loosey-goosey about what I get done. Like, I don't really think it through because I often like people for their art, so I find it really hard to like actually think of an idea. I think realistically next is either going to be like my nips or carrying on with my leg, because I will probably book in with Harley next. The next question that's tattoo related was, how do you find working a corporate job with visible tattoos? This has never really been a problem for me. I'm getting it more into work in a minute. So I work in an office, I'm a personal assistant. I have never really worked somewhere that I would consider corporate. I've always worked public sector, or I previously worked in charity. So the setup is like a little bit less formal than what most people would consider a typical corporate office. Previously, into moving into an office job, I worked in retail, so it really didn't matter. My experience of Brighton is that it isn't very corporate. There obviously are corporate offices, but everyone here is fairly liberal, and tattooed people here really are a dime a dozen. Like, they are everywhere. Is a dime a dozen the right phrase, or does that mean rare? There's a car alarm going off. You throw a stick in Brighton and it's gonna hit someone with a face tattoo. So it is really, really common. We are like quite a heavily tattooed city. There's a really high concentration of tattoo studios in quite a small city as well. So I feel like it's not unusual to come across heavily tattooed people in the workplace. I would say I'm reaching a point where now all my tattoos aren't coverable because I have really small tattoos on my hands and I have my ears covered. Obviously that can be covered with my hair. If I wear like a roll neck or a long sleeve shirt, you would never know. The job interviews, I cover them as much as I can because I always err on the side of caution. And it's not that people outright have a bias, it's like unconscious bias, isn't it? So I just don't put myself in that opportunity for someone to judge me based on them. I would say generally my experience has been positive. I don't know what that would be like in another workplace, but I don't ever really intend to work for a really corporate workplace. My camera's getting progressively lower as I like sink deeper into the sofa. I've just put the blanket on my legs and it's so comfy. We're gonna move into some health, beauty and style. I say health, I'm gonna answer this one because I don't know which other section to put it in. And it was, did you quit smoking? Just being nosy, I remember you speaking about it once. I'm gonna say I quit smoking because that was part of my January like 2024 ins and outs. However, if it's after 7 p.m. and I've been to the pub, if you see me with a cigarette in my mouth, mind your business. I'm laughing when I say that because I just like, I'm trying to be so real with you. Yeah, I quit smoking. I have every intention to quit smoking. Basically, I'm gonna give you some context. Last year, I was smoking more than I'd ever smoked in my life, and I don't care to put years to it, but I've been smoking quite a long time, very casually. I've never felt like I've been addicted to nicotine, which I know sounds like such an addict thing to say, but I would consider myself a social smoker. Like, I never smoked at home. I'd never like go out once I get home and like have a cigarette. I would smoke on my lunch breaks, or like if I was out with friends or if I was having a coffee. I would rarely smoke by myself. I wouldn't smoke at home because it just feels like a boundary that I didn't want to breach. I realized last year, I was like, I'm taking this too far. Like, it's costing me money. I don't like the smell. It tastes bad. It's not attractive. Unfortunately, I just love having a little cigarette. Like, I think it's one of life's pure pleasures. And I think what put it into perspective for me was Doug was like, he's always hated it, but he tolerated it, and he was just like, this isn't you. Like, I don't know why you do this. Like, you're so into like your health, what you put in your body, your spirituality, your yoga, like this just doesn't like align with who you are as a person. And I was a bit like, number one, that's really embarrassing, and number two, like, you really love me for saying that. And I was like, you're right, this is not right. Like, I'd always said like I should really quit this by the time I'm 30, but why not start a bit early? So I've stopped smoking now. If I go to the pub, I might have a cigarette if someone offers me one, if my friend has one, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about that, because my thing was that I needed to stop smoking, like in the day, at work, always having a pack of cigarettes on me. That's what I wanted to stop. So I'm gonna say yes, I've stopped smoking, but I haven't like truly cold turkey quit. This is a great one. Struggling with skin picking. I know you did too. Any advice on maintaining long term? I have a video on skin picking that you've probably seen, but for anyone else that hasn't seen it, sorry, there's gonna be so many videos linked in the description box. Yeah, girl, skin picking is something that I've like always really struggled with. I have a lot of like texture, and you've probably noticed that I fiddle a lot with my hair in my videos. It's because I need to be like picking, scratching, chewing something. I used to bite my nails loads, I don't anymore. I used to like fiddle with my hair and like all sorts of stuff. I still fiddle with my hair. Advice on maintaining long term. Firstly, that you're going to unfortunately ebb and flow with how okay you feel about it. I've been doing it like quite a fair bit recently, and I'm trying really, really hard not to. It also has a direct correlation with how clear or how like blemished my skin is. I've had a really bad run of bad skin this year, especially in like the middle third of the year. I know it always looks clear and I know I have good skin, but like texture wise and like picking wise, I've not been good. I've not been in a good place with it. Maintaining long term, I'm gonna say throw away all your tweezers and your tools that allow you to pick. I keep one pair of tweezers for doing my eyebrows, threw away my ingrown hair tweezers, you know, the really sharp pointy ones. Get rid of your magnifying mirror, or if you have to have one, I have one. I don't put it near any other mirrors because like the points of where I get distracted will be like my dressing table in an area with really good lighting, or like in front of a big mirror. So I just try never to go up too close to them. I know it sounds like, this sounds all really restrictive, but I think it's like not allowing myself the combination of tools to get really involved with picking my skin. It's a little bit hypocritical because I have been doing it lately, but like an example was I needed the magnifying mirror to curl my eyelashes, and I asked Doug to bring it into my dressing table, and he did. And the second I was done curling my lash, I said like, oh, can you put it back? He was up, I'm not lazy, but he did, because I could feel myself like looking at my skin. I got these little lights that are like little press button dim lights. You can adjust the dimness, so when I do my skincare I only have them on, I don't have the big light on. Those are kind of like my main tips for maintaining long term. And also for me, a trigger point was like texture. So if I could touch my skin and it felt like really rough and bumpy and congested, I would always pick it even if there was no mirror to hand. So I prioritized like getting on actives and trying to improve and clear up my skin texture, and I stopped picking a lot less because there was a lot less to pick. If you've got anything like really active and whiteheady, spot stickers helped me because there was always like something over them. But yeah, I'm really sorry, it's really hard. I find it really, really difficult still, especially when my skin's been playing, it's like on the mend now, but I'd done some really damage to my skin in the last few weeks, and I just really was not pleased with myself. You just feel so bad after it. I had a question about my hair routine. How often do I wash it and keep it looking so healthy and curly? That alarm is going off again. Can you hear it? So I probably wash my hair once a week, maybe twice if there's like a reason I need to wash it, like an event or something at the weekend or something I'm going to. So I use K18 shampoo and I shampoo my hair twice. If you don't do that, I'd really recommend doing it. It really helps get your hair feeling like really clean, and it's really good for your scalp health. By the way, wash your hair as much as you feel like you need to. Like, I'm not here to tell people with a completely different hair type to me what they should and shouldn't be doing with their hair. I would recommend washing it less if you can. So if you wash every day, stretch it out. But like, I'm not like a hair dermatologist, I don't know what the word is, so that's like only a recommendation based on what I do. Conditioner, I chop and change. I chop and change a lot of my hair products because I receive quite a lot of hair PR, so I try out a lot of different stuff. My favorite was the Garnier Banana conditioner, but they've recently reformulated it, so I'm not sure. So I'm using the Elvive Dream Lengths range, like orange, it's in an orange bottle. I would personally say use an expensive shampoo over a really expensive conditioner. Like, if you're going to put a little bit more money, it could be like an extra £3 or it could be like an extra 20, but if you're going to put a little bit more extra money into either of your products, I would say your shampoo. I always try to use like a lamellar conditioner or like a gloss, you know, that L'Oreal Elvive Wonder Water. I always use that because that always has it looking really shiny, and I do a cold rinse at the end. Something I use but not often enough to say that it's like a considerable part of my hair routine is the K18 molecular mask as well. I use that like once a month if I remember. I try to get trims every 12 weeks, but I haven't had one since May. But that helps, and I only use heat on it once a week. So I use a Dyson. Honestly, I love my Dyson. It's a dream hair tool for me just because of how long it takes to dry my hair. But I would say my hair looked pretty healthy before anyway. Before I had one, I used a curling tong, just like a regular hot iron. Just always use a heat protectant and you'll be fine. I just don't like to over process my hair with heat. Keep it looking curly, like you said. I've got a video on TikTok, but I basically curl it once and then sleep with it in a low bun. I always sleep with it off my face. I use satin pillowcases. I always brush it like constantly. multiple times a day. I will say I think a portion of this is genetics, but I also don't process my hair with like any dye or anything, so that helps, keeps it healthy obviously. I sound like I'm bragging about my hair on a day that my hair like doesn't look that nice because it's straightened like 6 days ago and it's gone a bit. I do actually think a really large portion of my hair is my diet. I eat a lot of like naturally fatty, oily, omega-3 foods. So like I eat a lot of oily fish. I eat a lot of iron rich foods. I basically eat a shit ton of vegetables and fish, and I really think the volume of which I eat fish really contributes to how my hair looks. Like I feel like a dog with a shiny coat. The main takeaways of that are double shampoo your hair, use a heat protectant, and use a satin pillowcase, and sleep with your hair off your face. Obviously your hair care health, if you're like a blonde or you bleach your hair or you process your hair in some way, is going to look slightly different. You might need to do slightly more to ensure that your hair looks healthy, but yeah, that's just what I'd recommend. Someone else has asked about my hair tinsel. So where'd you get your hair tinsel and is it hard to maintain? You can't see it. I have like 2 pieces left, I think. Oh, look, you can see a little bit there. I get this done, last time I had this done was May, and there's still a piece hanging on. So I don't find it hard to maintain at all. My hairdresser does it for me. She's called Lucy. She's based in Square Root. She's also like one of my closest friends. I'll put a link to her Instagram. She has so many colours. Honestly, I love my hair tinsel. One thing I will say is, if you are not someone that likes talking to strangers, just be prepared, because everyone asks me about this. It's such a conversation starter. It's really nice, but you will literally be grilled about it constantly. It's not for the weak. Strangers in the street will be like, how's that done? People touching your hair, which I don't really love. But no, it's really easy to maintain. It's heat proof, so I can curl this, I can blow dry it like normal. Obviously, it just drops out by itself like hair extensions. So if you use like a boar bristle brush or like a round brush when blow drying, it tends to pull it out a bit more because the bristles are more tight together. So I try use when I first get it like a tangle teaser, and that's really great. But no, it's really easy to maintain. You can wash your hair like normal. She just puts it in, takes an hour. She gets as many as she can in. She trims them all down because obviously they're really long. And yeah, just proceed as normal. Do you have any sort of fitness routine or exercise that you love? Yes, I am just trying to get back into like a fitness and exercise routine. I'm really struggling. I had a little bit of a back injury in summer, and I had to take some time off because I couldn't work out without it hurting. But generally my love for like the last 3 or 4 years has been yoga. I've been on and off with practicing. I've not been a great practitioner of it, but it makes me feel so good. I'm really about like staying mobile and like having good mobility. Like I want to be able to walk upstairs when I'm 70. It's been really good for like my mind and my mindfulness and my perspective and my outlook on life. It's taught me a lot of discipline. I used to go to the gym and like weightlift a lot, but I'm not so much into that anymore. I don't really have the discipline for that, and I'm just at like a different phase in my life. I really like reformer Pilates. I used to do that quite a lot before like I hurt my back. That's really nice. It's nice for when yoga wasn't feeling like a deep enough burn for me, because I found reformer Pilates really challenging. I think as a general rule of thumb now, I prefer like low impact and like not anything cardiovascular. I used to box, I used to like run. I've like had a stint on everything, and yeah, I prefer not to move fast now. So we're gonna get into questions about style. A lot of them I have answered in the previous Q&A, so I'm gonna do like a smidge of them, but not loads. I find it quite hard to answer questions about style. Fashion inspo, love all your outfits, thank you so much. I get a lot of fashion inspo from like people I see in the street. What's currently trending will always play a part, but I make sure I make decisions that feel like relevant and comfortable in my wardrobe. So like I always feel confident with things. I always take pictures of like my old outfits so I can reference them in the future. As for like inspo of people, I can't remember, but I listed a bunch of people who I really love their style in the description of the last video, so I would say check there. What would you call your aesthetic? I honestly like don't know. I don't think I have like one specific aesthetic. I don't really love labels. I understand their place. I think I've had so many issues with my, like within myself and my confidence of like when I try to stick to like a core or a label or an aesthetic and it doesn't work for me. I feel like some people are really like strongly rooted in an aesthetic, or like their personal sense of style is very consistent. I don't feel like mine is. I think I really get envious of people who, you know, you see an outfit and you think that is so them, like you just know it. I don't know, I worked in retail quite a long time, so I had a lot of fashion trial and error. So I think that's how I found like my personal style. I like things that I like. I find the TikTokification of aesthetic like really gorgeous, but sometimes really difficult to like think about. Like not everything needs to be an aesthetic. That's like no shade to you as a question asker. Personal style is exactly that. It's like so personal. How do you come up with effortlessly stylish fits? Struggling with motivation at the moment. Thank you so much. I love to establish this. I'm gonna establish this now. Nothing I do in my life is without effort. I try so incredibly hard with my appearance, and not in like a oh that's so sad way, but like that's my creativity and like that's my fun for me. So like I don't want anyone to ever feel like so sad or anything about like oh she just does it so easily, or like she's effortlessly cool. That's like another comment I had the other day. I try so hard, so please don't get like bogged down in the fact that people are effortless. I always take a picture of my outfit. If you like your outfit, take a picture of it, put an album on your phone. This removes some of the decision making for you. If you're struggling with motivation, because I think creativity with how you dress ebbs and flows, come up with a uniform, remove the decision making for you. I've realized what looks best on me is big wide trousers and a small top, and that for work, casual life, any of that kind of thing always works really well for me. I feel the best with the most minimal amount of effort. The same goes for dresses. So when I'm struggling with motivation, that is like the formula I reach for. Dress and trainers, big baggy pant, little top. Always works really well for me. Always looks like some kind of put together, or just like a blue jean and a white t-shirt. That's kind of like my staple. I don't know what to wear, so I'm gonna wear this. So when it comes to work and stuff, I put my outfit out every single night. That's a non-negotiable for me. I hate doing it. I hate deciding what to wear. And I know that sounds like a bit crazy considering, like I was saying, how much I love dressing, but I find it generally really tiring. It uses up a lot of brain power that I think could be better used elsewhere. So I put it out every night so I don't have to rush and be stressed in the morning. I keep a lot of stuff in my wardrobe like grouped together of things that I know will look good. So like I've got all my work trousers and then like basic shirts down one end. I try not to expend more energy than I really need to thinking about my work outfit. So like I'm a night showerer, so when I shower at night I think about what I'm gonna wear, because I'm like I'm not gonna sit on the edge of my bed like thinking about it. When you wear an outfit that makes you feel really good and you feel really confident in it, like even if it's literally just like jumper and jeans, because that's my favorite outfit, take stock of it, make a note in your phone, know that you can revisit that outfit. What's your fave brand of clothing to buy or wear? For basics, I really like COS. I don't have enough COS because it's expensive, but I always try going the sale when they have one on. Really good quality cotton. Really vibing with M&S at the moment. H&M is fast fashion, but I'm not gonna lie, H&M is like trusty for me, like if I need basics or workwear, but I try not to buy too much new stuff. I've been in this kind of like habit of trying to buy less and buy mostly secondhand for like the last 2 years. So I go on Vinted a lot. I like a lot of ASOS stuff. I miss Topshop. What is my favourite perfume? Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, Penhaligon's Harfetti. I think those are my two like god tier fragrances. I think next I'm gonna get into some personal questions. There's like a genre of things here that like I don't know where to put them, so I'm just lumping them all into like the personal category. Sorry, I'm giggling. I'm gonna start with questions about Doug. I get shy answering questions about Doug because like you all know about him and he's in like a couple of my videos. He doesn't really like being on camera, but I like keeping him private, and I think he likes his privacy, and like I talk quite a lot about him and he doesn't mind that, but it's like funny to me that none of you really know him that well. So how did you and Doug meet? Only followed for a short time and obsessed. Thank you so much. Welcome. Me and Doug met, we both used to work at Topshop. So he worked on Top Man and I worked at Topshop, and that was like how we met. We probably didn't speak for like a year, like I never literally crossed his path, and then we became like quite good friends through other friends, and then after like quite a long time of being friends we got together and it was pretty serious from the get-go, and yeah, here we are 7 and a bit years later. Did you know Doug was the one? I'm gonna say yes, bearing in mind that I'm like a lover girl, and I think with how serious we were from the start, I definitely knew that this was different. No one's ever given me like a sense of security like quite like he has. I think that really set the tone, and I knew that this was different. Do you plan on having kids? I invited this in because I said in this story like be as nosy as you want. I normally hate being asked this, but this is a Q&A. And I said I would answer your questions, and it's a perfectly innocent question. My stance constantly changes on this. I'm gonna leave this very brief, because this is like the best way I feel I can answer, because I don't really have an answer for you. I know that there will be children in my life in some capacity, whether that be my own children or the children of like my very bestest friends, my soulmates, my loved ones. Like those will be my children, my nieces and my nephews, by blood or by bond. At this moment, I like haven't got a plan on whether I want children or not. If I have a child, I'll be so blessed. But if I don't have a child, I won't go my whole life feeling like I've missed out. That's not really an answer. So basically the answer is I don't know. This is a nice question. Favorite things about yourself? I think what immediately springs to mind is like, one of my favorite things is that like I'm an incredibly emotional person. I think I feel things very deeply, like not just my own things, but for other people as well. It can be a little bit of a negative because I get weighed down in things quite easily. I get quite melancholy. But I think it makes me a nicer person. It can make me quite an intense person, I think. I find like surface level relationships like quite difficult because I want to know like what makes people them. I think that's one of my favorite things about myself. I feel like I really have like close connections with people because of it. I guess like another thing would be like maybe like my outlook. I genuinely do think that I like have a really positive outlook on life. I think I have a healthy amount of skepticism as well, but like generally I think I look at things with like a glass half full approach rather than a glass half empty, because I'd much rather feel good about life than miserable. I guess like maybe an open heart. I sat here like listing off all the favorite things about myself. I guess overarchingly, that feels so ridiculous. Overarchingly, I think my favorite thing about myself is that I feel very authentic. I don't know if everyone would agree, but for me, my whole life, I always feel like I've been able to be myself. That's a privilege. I'll acknowledge that not everyone lives like that, but I always feel like I've been able to make decisions and like align myself with things that are authentic to me. It's been difficult, and it's definitely more as an adult than it is as a teenager, but I always feel like I'm able to walk in my authenticity and like in my path and in my creativity, and also to be comfortable with that. It's like not always comfortable to do your own thing, but I just always feel like I do what's in my best interest. I do what's right for me, and I have like quite a good sense of intuition, so I never feel like I'm not aligned with who I'm meant to be. And if I am, I'm like, okay, this isn't for me. Is that really wishy-washy? It sounds really dramatic. Those are my favorite things about myself. I think it's that I have a strong sense of self. How do you keep such a relaxing / calming aura? This is like honestly the best compliment I've ever received, because I do not feel like a calm and relaxing person. Like I have ADHD. I feel very scatty like nearly all the time. I think being calm and relaxed, I like force myself to be calm and relaxed, and that doesn't sound very calm or relaxing. But I also think I have quite a high stress threshold. I realized quite a long time ago I don't really allow myself to be stressed about things like work or time or like being late, or you know, just like all of that kind of stuff. I am very much, like I said earlier, like a glass half full person. I don't like being stressed. It doesn't make me feel good. I obviously do get stressed, but I think my threshold is quite high, because there will be times where I just don't allow myself to stress about things. My dad's quite like a calm person as well, and I think I like definitely learned it off him. The biggest bit of like wisdom, I guess, that was that phrase that everyone's seen, that's like, you can't control what happens, but you can control your reaction. And I think that was quite like a big thing for me. This kind of links in with another question I got, that's you seem to have a beautiful balance of life. Any advice on ways to find a good balance? I think like finding the balance for you is really important. I think I have a good balance on some things but not others. And like working, I'll come on to that in a minute, and like social media and stuff, that's not a good balance in my life, but I know what I need to do what I need to do. So I'm gonna get a pen and paper, because I'm gonna show you something I do actually quite a lot. It's something I do fairly often. It's like something I do when I feel like a little bit off kilter or out of whack, or that like my life isn't inspiring good balance. So draw a circle and then divvy it up. Do I do 6 or do I do 8? I think I do 6. You've got pie segments, right? I feel like a lot of you might know this. So the 6 that I do are friendship, career, love/relationships, like your partner, family, fun, play, recreation, all one category, spirituality. A lot of the other suggestions are like stress management, finances. I don't like to put finances in there because I don't like to, it gives me anxiety, like thinking about money. There's like time management. A lot of them are very career focused, but what you're going to do is you're going to look at this wheel and you're going to rate yourself out of 10 on like your feeling of fulfillment in that area. So like, let's say I'm just filling mine out. So it might look like that. So you can see I'm very highly rated in some sections and very not highly rated. I'm a very visual person, so this really helps me. So like if you'd marked career as really high but your love and relationships and your family is really low, you might be able to be like, look, I'm spending too much time in my career but I'm doing really well, there's a payoff there. And always try to look at it with like a positivity, because this is never all going to be like 10 out of 10. Like spirituality might be feeling really low because you might feel disconnected from yourself. You don't need to be spiritual to have that in, you don't need to be religious, but if you're not feeling connected to your religion, you might not feel like you're inspiring a good balance. If religion is something that's a really important part of your life, if your faith is something that's a really big part of your life, your career, your love, relationships and family could all be really high, but if you're not making time for fun and play, you're going to feel really unsatisfied. And that could be anything, anyone's version of fun and play. This could be you're not finding time for your hobbies, you're not finding time for your team sport, you're not finding time to do things that feel like play to you, whether that's like Xbox, quite literally play, or, you know, spending some time by yourself, having fun, laughing. So I think this is a really good visual way of seeing where you need balance in your life. That's my tangible, logical way on like how you might be able to find some balance in your life. Do you want any pets? I would love a pet. Do you know what? I'm like desperate for a cat. I miss having cats so much. Doug's allergic. I don't think he's allergic. I just don't think he's met the right one. I'm working on it slowly. The last people in this flat had cats, so I think we'd be able to have a cat. I would really like a dog, but I think it's quite a big lifestyle decision, and I know that cats are too, but cats are definitely like lower maintenance in terms of you can just let them out. You don't have to take them for walks. I do really like dogs, but I think I'm like first and foremost a cat person, always have been. A dog is like a really huge commitment. Not that a cat isn't. To me, like a dog is like as much a commitment as a child, which just shows how little I know about having dogs or children. This is one I like, what I find it really hard to answer is my all-time favourite books ever. I have a list, so I'm gonna run through the list with you. I don't have one favourite book, so I'm really sorry. I can't answer like all-time favourite book ever. I don't know if it's a cop-out to answer like a list, but I'm gonna anyway. So these are some of my favourite books. Secret History by Donna Tartt, All About Love by Bell Hooks, Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, Come by Rita Therese, Perfume by Patrick Suskind, Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, Lapvona by Atessa Moshfegh, A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck, and also To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. I don't know if there's any more. I think that's everything. It's always ever evolving. I know that's literally like 10, so I'm really sorry. But also I just don't have one favourite read, unfortunately. I think that is everything from the like personal and misc section. I think next we will dive into social media / content creation. So what made you start social media and where do you want it to take you? This is such a bit of a strange journey for me. So I had actually been offline for like 3 years maybe. I didn't post on Instagram. I had to have like a thing on my Instagram saying I haven't blocked you because I had 0 posts. In COVID, I did what a lot of people do and I rediscovered my love for gaming. I've always like had gaming in my household. I started playing a lot more Animal Crossing, got a PC, Dead by Daylight, loads of stuff. And I started streaming on Twitch, which I absolutely loved. I was doing that 3 to 4 times a week. I met an amazing community of people. I kept that again, all really separate. I literally didn't even post for maybe a year on my Instagram or on Twitter, because I had Twitter at the time, that I was streaming, and I slowly started to find this like really small community of people that were really just like believing in me. I made a lot of online friends. I did a lot on Twitch. I had some really amazing opportunities. I met some really amazing people. I like met my online friends IRL. What I say now is that I owe every single thing that I do now to my Twitch community, because I literally was not confident about being online, and it taught me every single skill that I could ever need about how to be on camera, about how to like present myself. It's very different to TikTok and YouTube because it's a live audience. So I was thinking on my feet a lot more. You're obviously having to deal with like quite a lot of intense, sometimes like quite controversial situations or people being rude and stuff. You're reacting in live time. It taught me how to like play a game and focus on my audience and like entertain. From there I started learning like YouTube video editing and clip editing, because I would do all my clips together. And then I started posting my clips on TikTok and I did my weekly highlights on YouTube. Neither of these exist anymore. Randomly posted a video one day of my hair, like how I styled my fringe, and it went like super viral, and I was like, oh, okay. Carried on posting Twitch clips. They just obviously didn't get that much traction unless it was like Valorant, which is a shooting game, and they only got traction because all the men used to come and shit on me in the comments. So I slowly started posting more hair stuff, and I obviously have like nice hair, nice long hair, and those were the videos that got a lot of traction. So I moved away from gaming clips to posting only hair stuff. So I used to be only a hair content creator. It's really hard to create hair content. I was washing my hair so often. Every single hair wash opportunity became an opportunity for content, and I decided I wanted to like move away from that. So I started doing outfits and stuff, and then I started posting on YouTube, and here we are today. So that's what made me start social media. I didn't start it because I wanted to like start it per se. I wasn't like, I want to be an influencer. I started it because I liked gaming so much, and I didn't have any friends in real life that had the same interests in terms of gaming. So I went online to try find like-minded individuals and like get a sense of community and share that with people, because obviously like the pandemic was a lonely time. Also I had a lot more time. I could stay up really late all the time online streaming. Where do I want it to take me is a completely different thing. I have no idea. I don't know how I feel about any of it. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. I couldn't fathom that I even get like half the opportunities that I get now. I'm obviously still considered like quite a small, like a micro influencer. I've been to like a lot of events and stuff like that through TikTok, which I'm so grateful for. I would like it to take me to a place of financial security, what I deem is financial security. I would like to be completely solely self-employed and have like a lot of creative freedom and have a lot more time, because I love filming and I love editing, and I find it quite a stretch to do both of my jobs, but I love doing it, so persevere. So that's kind of like what I would like from it. The next question is, will you ever stream on Twitch again? I'm gonna say no. I feel really sad about that. Leaving Twitch was a really difficult thing for me. I took like indefinite time off. It all started going downhill like after my brother died, basically. I obviously just didn't have the factor that I had before. I found it really difficult. I'd invested a lot of time into my community, and my community invested a lot of time into me, as well as like money, you know. I put loads of money into like my gaming PC, which I still have and I still use. Like all of the equipment you need from streaming is not cheap. So then to stream for like less than 2 years, and also I don't know if anyone knows, but like Twitch works on a paid subscription basis, so a lot of my community were like paying to subscribe to me. They don't have to, but it was obviously like a show of support. So I think I felt really bad about like saying I was going to take some time off and then just basically never coming back. But I didn't feel bad in the sense that I am available on other platforms, albeit in a different sense, but like I didn't just completely disappear offline. I still speak to quite a lot of people like I met online through there. So long answer, but no, I don't have any plans at the moment to go back to Twitch. It's so different, it's so time consuming, it's so like such a different form of entertainment. I really admire people that can do it, but streaming for like 4 to 6 hours and being like on all the time was just really, it got to a point where it took a bit of a toll on me. Who are some of your favourite YouTubers? So top 2 easily are Mary Skinner and Lynette Adkins. I'll link their channels. I just love all of the content they put out. Mary also does a podcast, and I listen to it religiously. You know, we just want more content from someone. I want more. She posts so much and I just like can't get enough of it. I love her YouTube videos. I sporadically watch Jazz Turner. Jazz does a lot of like glow up and beauty content and like that kind of vlogs. It's very aesthetic and I really admire a lot of it. It's funny because I don't like to consume too much of that content, but just like I love her videos when I just need something like soft and girly on in the background and it's very aesthetic. I really like Lydia Millen's videos as well. Lydia Millen is just like, I don't know if anyone's seen her stuff before. She's really famous. Those are like the 4 people that I can think of that are like my favorite YouTubers at the moment. I don't tend to watch more than 4 at a time. I fear this is going to be such a long video. In my last video I filmed this last year, I typed out responses to like try keep it concise and then read them back on the screen, like I scripted it, but I'm just freeballing it here and it's going to be so long. My favorite thing about social media is community and connection. I think that's so fun. I know there's a lot of bad stuff about social media, like there is so much wrong with social media. I just don't think people always use it correctly, but who am I to say how people use it? And also, I think I learned so much from social media. I am able to try so many new things. I find out so much about other places, other people, other cultures. For all its negative traits, I do think it can be quite a good tool. Do I think that doing social media whilst working my 9 to 5 is a lot? Yes. I would say that I find it like quite difficult, quite challenging is my challenging is like my polite way of saying it's really hard. There's 2 questions that are kind of linked about how do I organize myself and keep up the motivation. I know this is not directly relating to social media, but I felt like that ties in with the last question, is that whilst I think I put on a front of being like very organized and very motivated, and that is like really true most of the time, there are definitely days that I'm not documenting where everything falls behind. You see it reflected in my shoddy upload schedule, you see it reflected in the inconsistencies in my posts, you see it reflected in the quality of my content. That's not to like drag myself, but I just think organization is a discipline, and I think my motivation for like what I want and the work I love doing outweighs my need for spontaneity. Tips for staying organized is that like I plan out everything I do when it comes to content specifically. So I have like a really big video plan tool on my laptop, so I always carry a notebook with me for any like ad hoc ideas, and on my tool it always says kind of where I am in the process. So what's not filmed, what's being filmed, what needs editing, and what's scheduled and ready to upload. I plan out most thumbnails so that when I sit down and record a video, I know which thumbnails to get, and I also plan the content so when I sit down and record a video, I'm not sat here rambling, and that is a better use of my time. Usually what I would do with this video is I would have typed up all the questions, I would have like come up with a concise answer. Most of these ones I'm able to answer on the fly, but some of them I want to give a bit more thought and consideration to, so that when I come down and sit here, I can read them off, I can answer them, it's easy to cut. I usually try to stay 1 to 2 videos ahead. That's not always possible, but yeah, I use always my free day to film 1 to 2 videos, 1 to 2 TikToks, and then I always use the rest of my weekend and my weeknight evenings to edit. I think it's important to note that I do a lot, but I don't have a hugely active social life, which helps. I don't have any children, which helps. I feel like I've overcompensated a little bit on my ADHD by becoming so organized, where I used to be so disorganized, but like I literally will plan out my week. So I meal prep everything, I plan out what I'm gonna eat when, I plan what days I'm gonna work out, I plan what days I'm seeing friends, I have like an online calendar. I do think there is strength in spontaneity and like making sure you're there for people when they need you. So like this routine is a template, it's not rigid. I don't like, if I go off piece, I don't really freak out that much. I do have a bit of like an ick, but I think for me, staying organized is the key to me having a lot more mental space. So while I find it quite restrictive being in a routine sometimes, my routine allows me to like have fun and be creative and know like what I'm doing when, and it allows me less headspace of like trying to figure out when to do things. As for motivation, that's kind of like another thing. I am often not very motivated, but I think that's kind of why discipline kicks in. I'm a makeup artist who's looking more to get into social media so I can work for myself. Any tips? I love giving people tips on this. Post consistently, whether that's consistently once a week or consistently twice a week or consistently 3 times a week. I like to post 2 to 4 times a week at roughly the same time. I do my posts when I'm on my way to work about 7:30, 8 every time. People know when they can watch my videos. When I was streaming, I was live at the same times every week. People know when I'm live. My YouTube schedule is a bit all over the place, but for the most part, people know that I'm going to post on a Wednesday or a Sunday evening. So consistency, consistency, consistency. Just post. Get over the fear. I don't know if you have the fear. This is what I say to everyone who's like, I want to do social media. You need to get over listening to the sound of your own voice. You need to get over looking at your face. You need to get over what other people will think of you. That's easier said than done, but like those are the first steps. Do the voiceovers, film the stuff, look for ideas, look at what other makeup artists are doing, look at trends, save video ideas, and then plan out your videos. You can film educational content, you can film review content, your opinions, you can post combinations of your favorite colors, like depending on what kind of makeup artistry you do. Take your time filming and always film B-roll. So film washing your brushes, film doing someone's makeup, film organizing your kit. I'll always tell everyone to just post because you won't get better at it until you post more. That is everything for my social media section. So I think the last section is work. Everyone asks me so much about work, which is so interesting because I feel like what I do for a job is like the least interesting thing about me, but I totally get it. So we're going to talk about work for a little while. I think this is probably what I had the most questions about. The first question is, do you have any qualifications and degrees? And no, I don't. I've barely got any A levels, maybe like 1 or 2, barely that, like definitely C's and D's. I never went to uni. I am a qualified florist because that was kind of like another life ago. I went and got a level 3 floristry qualification. I did that for a bit, but that's kind of like where my formal education stopped. What do I do for work? I'm a personal assistant. I only started this job like 2 months ago. Yeah, relatively new for me. I've had 2 questions about studying. So am I still studying and how's my herbalism course going? So last year I started a foundation year in herbalism and herbal medicine because it's just something I'm really interested in, and I felt like my self-study knowledge had taken me like up to a point. A little bit embarrassed actually. I've been really putting off questions about this because I basically just like didn't complete enough to pass. I paid for it, so I've lost that money. That's fine. It was all an online course. I was doing okay with it, but I found it difficult to consistently study myself and like be self-starting with that. Also, in the middle of that, I went through a period where there was like a national shortage of my ADHD medication and I was like feeling really unwell. I was struggling quite a lot like with work as well. So yeah, I just basically got to a point in the year where I was trying to catch up and I wasn't going to get close enough to qualify. I realised that, and my course facilitators realised that. So I carried on learning and learned what I could, but I was never going to pass with the time that I had, which is disappointing in myself, but I stopped beating myself up about it quite a long time ago. It's a lesson learned, it's money lost. It was only ever for a hobby. It wasn't really anything I was intending to make a career out of it. I was really excited to study again. I was really excited to start, and unfortunately I just wasn't serious enough about it, and a bunch of factors just made it really difficult for me, including my own like personal motivation. I think it was well intentioned, but perhaps a little bit naive of me to think that I could maintain 10 hours of study a month on top of a 2-week upload schedule, a 30-hour job, and a 4-day upload schedule on TikTok, like including all the editing and everything. But yeah, so how did I get into my field of work after retail? A brief history is that I worked in retail from 17 to 26, so 9 years. And then I left retail finally to go be an office manager, having never worked in an office, which was quite intimidating, but an office manager for a women's charity. Did that for 2 years exactly. And then in the last 2 months, I've moved into a new role as a personal assistant. So I currently PA for one person, but provide administrative support for the senior leadership team, which are like working under her. I'm still really new, so it's hard to say like what the day-to-day is really like, but I'm enjoying it so far. So how I got out of retail and into like administrative services, clerical stuff. So when I was leaving retail, I was applying for like every single administrative job under the sun. So like receptionists, front desks, admin assistants. I think what I struggled with was that I had obviously very little experience in admin. Things like front desks and receptionists, there's always going to be people with more experience than me when you have none. So the best, and not that you've asked for advice, but this is like how I did it. I'd been in retail for such a long time in such a variance of retail that I think there's a lot more transferable skills for retail and hospitality than people realize. Good, well-honed, sociable and interpersonal skills are harder to come by than good technical skills. So use your advantage of being a people person, or at least having good customer service. Use that to your advantage in the interview. People will always remember the really nice, warm person. As far as like technical skills go, so I had done some management in retail, some like middle management, like team leaders and supervisors and stuff, but I ended up stepping down because I didn't really like it. I'm thinking off the top of my head of all the kinds of skills you get after being in retail, and they are definitely transferable. So if we're looking at operational stuff like back end, we're looking at stock takes, handling large volumes of data in a stock take, cash handling, especially if you've done like management experience or cashing up, you've got loads of cash handling experience and financial experience. Customer service, you're quick at problem solving, you're able to work well within a team or individually. I know all of this sounds very generic, but then what you want to do is you're looking at the administrative job, scheduling, you're looking at rota management, you're looking at juggling lots of different conflicting schedules, you're looking at diary management. And I know this all sounds very obvious, but What you want to do from there is you want to look at the person specification for the job that you want, the administrative job that you want, and you are going to use that method in your application about why those skills are good for that. So you're going to look at the road stuff. You're going to be good at diary management. You're looking at, you need telephone front desk experience. You've got great customer service experience. They want someone who's proficient in IT. This one's a bit harder to fudge, especially if you're not good with IT, but you need to be good with IT if you're going into admin. But you've got good till experience. You've got good, like, let's say you're emailing, you're inputting figures. If you ever do any of that, that's IT experience. You know, if you don't have any of that from your retail job, can you do that outside of there, like uni or, you know, like self-study? You basically need to like replicate the language that they've used in the person specification to what you're good at, what you've done. And don't get me wrong, I applied for so many jobs. All you need is one interview. All you need is someone to meet you, because that's the thing, I interview really, really well, but these applications, I applied for so many, and the second I got one interview, I was like, I know I've got this job, and I got that job. Getting out of retail is difficult, and it was really overwhelming for me because I felt like I'd only ever known retail, but it is possible. You want to look for like administrative assistant jobs, but it is possible. It's just you need to persevere. How did you get into being a PA without any prior experience, and what made you change from the charity? So I'm going to start with what made me change from the charity. I've been there for 2 years, and it was my first admin job, and I loved it. I really did. I loved the culture. I think it was a very special place to work. I'm never going to meet colleagues like that again. I'm never going to be in work that fulfilling again. But I also think because it was quite a small charity, it had like quite a unique set of challenges. That meant there obviously isn't a lot of money in charity. There's obviously not a lot of progression in charity. Like I said, I'm not very career focused, but I think I did quite a lot. My role was quite broad, which at the beginning was really amazing. And I think a lot of the strengths that made it such a good place to work also made it a difficult place to work and made the role difficult for me. And I think after 2 years I was just a bit spent. Because it's so small, I was quite like a vital part of the machine. It was just really stressful. I think listening to a lot of hardship all day, because it was a women's charity, was hard to hear. It takes its toll on you, it burns you out. Even though I wasn't frontline, I think how much responsibility was like on my shoulders, like from an admin perspective, was a lot for me to handle. And while I wasn't looking to leave, I thought it's better to leave while I still love working here than before I like have a nervous breakdown. And also like the place I work now, it's a much bigger organization. They have a lot more structures in place. I'm looking forward to being a small cog in a big machine rather than quite like a big important cog in a very small machine. And the remit of the work is more focused. Obviously PAs have less responsibility than office managers do in terms of like different task variants. And then how did I get into being a PA without any prior experience? I would honestly say I didn't not have prior experience. While I had no direct experience as a PA, like that wasn't my job title, I think once you've done like office management or admin, a lot of the details and the experience that is involved in that translate really well into being a PA. So this is also boring, I know, I'm sorry. I did a lot of diary management. I did diary management for my director and then the person that was under her. I did a lot of like venue meeting room booking. I did a lot of meeting organization and minute taking and agendas, and that is like 80% of my job now is like meeting management, diary management, minute taking and agendas, inbox management. It's like a more focused remit of responsibility I have in this role. So I think that's how I got into it, is that I was able to see like the transferable skills, and like I'm really good at applications and interviews because I've done so much in recruitment in my last role. I did so much recruiting for the charity, and like did all of the job specs and like lots of the shortlisting and the scoring and stuff. I like know how to do a job application quite well. I know what they're looking for. It's all scoring, isn't it? So a lot of my experience is very relevant. So that's how I got into it basically, because I was really qualified to be a PA. Probably not a PA to like a C-suite or anything. I don't think I want to be a PA to like a C-suite, or I don't think I could be an EA because that's a lot more like governance-y type stuff. I don't want to be a corporate PA or like a personal PA because that's just like a level of boundary that I don't really want. But that's how I got into it. I think I was just able to talk a good talk in my interview, and I think I chose a level of PAing that is appropriate for a person with strong admin experience but not necessarily direct PA experience, because a lot of PA jobs are like you need 5 years of being a PA, and it's like, well, I don't have that. There was a lot of questions like asking about how I got into my line of work and like more about my new job and stuff, but I hope that that's sufficiently covered them. Someone has asked for my top organisation tips being a PA. I recently got a PA role and needing help. Congratulations. I wrote some stuff down for this question, so I'm going to read it off my laptop. But I will say, I've not actually been a PA before, so I'm learning. I don't have a lot, but I do have some general like admin-y organisational tips from my last role that I think you might find useful. But also it might be quite obvious to you because I don't know what your previous job history was. So this is just some stuff that I've learned. My favourite one is get a contact card for your boss or the person you PA to or the people that you PA to, and you're going to put all their information on it. Contact info, so like their phone number, their email address. If they have a business card, just tuck that away. Working hours, their postal address for correspondence if that's different to where you are. Things like lunch preferences, if that's something you do for them where they get lunch. Any information that you use regularly, like if you need their registration number a lot for like parking, registration number. I have a work phone and I have a clear phone case. On a blank scrap of paper, I'll keep my phone number and then my boss's phone number so I can quickly access it, because people are always asking me for her contact details. And then you can keep that other information on the other side, or if you have a diary, front page of your diary. You don't have to keep all that information on your phone, but you can do it on like a sticky on your desktop. Like if you need like employee numbers, like budget codes, stuff that you reference often, like either on behalf of your boss, anything like that. That's like what I do. That's the first thing I do in any new job, is I always make a sticky of all the things I need, like door codes, all of that kind of stuff. Really, really helpful. Also, it makes you look really, really organized. When people ask you for information, you're able to recall it quickly. This is all really obvious, I feel, but this is like the first thing I did in my new role and what I kind of had done in my previous role. So I discussed my level of involvement. So how they want me to manage their inbox, if they want me to manage their inbox, their calendar, how do they want me to go in their calendar? Do they have a physical diary and an online calendar? I hope that they don't. But if so, is there a system for how you keep a track of that? I also discuss a timeline of how quickly it will be possible for me to kind of get complete control of what they want with confidence, and also like their expectation of how quickly I get to this. Shadow them in their calendar, shadow them in their meetings, shadow them in their inbox, ask how and why they do things, like what their preferences are, what do they want you to delete, what do they want you to accept. If you've got Outlook, turn the delegate settings on. That's so obvious, but I felt like not everyone knows that exists or like knows how to use that well, and then you can send responses on their behalf. I'm only saying this really obvious stuff because you said you're also a new PA, so I don't know what your breadth of admin experience is. Ask about their preferences around recurring meetings, how they prefer that you take minutes and set agendas, how they prefer you disseminate papers. I like to make contact lists for like distribution lists. So if your manager manages people or like manages large teams, let's say, can you disseminate this with all of the area or all of the service leads? You make a distribution list of all those people. Always, I like to keep resource lists. Anyone I ever meet that does anything useful for me, another department or another contact or someone who's even just a bit friendly, I'm adding them to this list. If you meet someone from another business, you meet another PA, that is so important, or you meet someone who's in charge of admin, or like a stakeholder or like a stakeholder's PA, great people to have on the list, especially when they're in the same industry as you. A list of venues, their facilities, the contact information and feedback. If you're booking a lot of meetings or you're booking away days or you're booking seminars, a list of these places as and when you go to them. So like if you know this venue seats 50 people but only seats them lecture style, not cabaret style, they provide a lunch but they don't have great facilities, or it's not accessible ground floor, or they don't have projectors, screens, or the staff are rude, you're going to put this feedback down. If anyone gives any feedback to you after that event, like, oh, it was a bit stuffy because there was no windows, jot that down. Keep this database and take it with you from workplace to workplace. Include good catering and lunch venues in that list, because people will thank you for having that. People will reach out to you for anything and everything as like an admin person or a PA. And I think to be able to answer the question or deliver the information in like a kind and helpful manner will get you very far, because PA and adminning is like a lot about networking. It's very frustrating being asked everything and anything, but like it's good to have that information available. Templates, I guess this is like really obvious, but your company might have them already, but like templates for everything. Create them or find them online if they don't. Meeting agendas and minutes, great template to have. I have two separate ones. I have like formal and informal, so one that covers things like governance and stuff like that, because it's all like legal stuff. Travel itineraries, away day agendas, planning templates, SOP templates, action log templates, out of office checklists. If you're doing a lot of purchasing and buying, like stock code lists, places you order, like where you order things regularly from. I even have like stock templates for time-consuming emails I have to send. So like in my previous role, I haven't got any in this role, but like I had to do a lot of recruitment emails to people that were often a lot of like copy paste, insert the details, invites to interviews, that kind of thing. Obviously like you end up having to personalize it, but it's a really good idea to have those kinds of things because it just takes so long otherwise. I know this is a bit lame, but if you travel a lot with your person, it's like being prepared in the sense that I always have chargers, phone chargers, like laptop chargers, all the tech stuff. Basically just like being prepared, I guess. I utilize rules on Outlook a little bit. It's not entirely necessary, but like the color coding, the sorting, that kind of thing. As someone that often responds very quickly to emails, my favorite rule is a 1-minute delay on emails that get sent unless they're marked as high importance. So I send emails and have a 60-second delay so that if I've done a typo, forgotten to attach a file, or you know, things come back very quickly, actually I changed my mind, blah blah blah, or I've given the wrong information, I can go back into the outbox and it's there. Anyway, that was such a long video. I hope it wasn't too boring. I hope it wasn't too repetitive for people who have seen my last one. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions about what I've said today. And I'm sorry if I've missed your question. It wasn't like showing me all of them when I just went to go back and look, because I definitely know there's some in there that I read that I haven't seen in this, like recalling them on my phone. I hope it wasn't too boring. Thank you so much for sitting down and watching if you've watched the whole thing. My upload schedule is a little bit reduced at the moment, so I'm uploading on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday of every month, and I upload weekly on a Sunday. I'll put my social links in the description box below so you can follow me on other platforms if you so wish. I will see you in the next upload, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about me today.